Hey, Wrong World Entertainment, and as we all know, Blade, the MCU's version, seems to have nothing but trouble getting off the ground. Multiple rewrites, multiple directors, they just cannot figure out a story that should just simply be a vampire hunter killing vampires. And now we know that Mahershala Ali isn't even available to film Have They Got a Script right now because he's off doing Jurassic World 4. Well, things are looking even more bleak for Blade because during the financial call for Disney, their new quarter earnings call, it didn't even get mentioned when Bob Iger listed all the Marvel movies that are coming out from now to 2027, and there's no mention of Blade. So we're going to have a look at the article, and it's funny as well because it ends with saying how Wesley Snipes returned in Deadpool and Wolverine, and how there's people now pushing, which includes Wesley Snipes himself, to get Wesley Snipes back as Blade. But let's have a look at this because it's interesting. So it says, just last week, Marvel Studios adjusted its upcoming release schedule, with the company removing an untitled July 24th, 2026 film from its upcoming slate. But, surprisingly, Blade, the film that seems to have the most uncertainty surrounding it, remained unchanged. Yet today, in Disney CEO Bob Iger's Q3 financial year earnings of 2024 statement, the top exec pointed to a number of upcoming Marvel projects as a reason for investors to feel bullish about the company's upcoming financial performance, and he listed every 2025 Marvel project except for one. Now, before we continue, I would also like to point out that he's desperate for investors to keep pumping money in because he absolutely promised and guaranteed all investors, especially if they keep him on the board and don't bring in Nelson Peltz and whatnot, that Disney Plus would turn profit this year. Guess what didn't happen and what he said won't happen this year? That's right, Disney Plus did not turn a profit, is not turning a profit, and now he said, oh, it'll turn profit at some stage next year. No, it won't, because it's failing. But we'll continue. A joint statement from Iger and Disney Chief Financial Officer Hugh Johnston reads, looking at our upcoming theatrical slate, we are excited to bring audiences a number of titles that expand our popular franchises and bring these stories to life in an imaginative new ways. Later in the year, we have the highly anticipated release of Moana 2, as well as Mufasa the Lion King. Who is asking for Mufasa? Nobody. The statement continues, in 2025, our slate remains just as robust, with Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, The Fantastic Four First Steps, Zootopia 2, and Avatar 3. And in 2026, we look forward to Avengers Doomsday, a new Star Wars movie featuring the Mandalorian and Grogu, and Toy Story 5, the first Toy Story movie since 2019. As you can see, every 2025 release from the MCU was mentioned by Iger and Johnson, except for Blade. The reboot of the superhero vampire film originated by Wesley Snipes was first announced back in 2019 at San Diego Comic-Con, when Mahershala Ali walked on stage at the end of the studio's all-age presentation. Since then, the project has lost 2 directors and undergone 4 known rewrites of the script. Ali is still attached to star in the lead role, but Delori, Lindo, and Aaron Perry have since departed. Maya Gott is still set to appear as and will reportedly play Lilith, an ancient vampire who needs the blood of the Daywalker for some nefarious purposes, but instead of targeting Blade, she targets his daughter. Earlier drafts of the film had the project taken place in the 1920s, but multiple rewrites now have the pick taking place in present day. Blade was originally envisioned as a Phase 5 film, but due to aforementioned script issues and the 2023 strikes, writer and actor, the film was pushed to November 7th, 2025, making it a Phase 6 release. In other related news, Snipes' Blade returns in Deadpool and Wolverine and states, seemingly to the audience, there's only been one Blade and there's only ever gonna be one Blade. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool then knowingly looks into the camera, seemingly making note of the film's difficult production. Since then, Reynolds has gone on to campaign that Snipes' Blade deserves his own Logan-like send-off. On Instagram, he wrote, "There is no Fox Marvel Universe or MCU without Blade first creating a market. He is Marvel Daddy. Please share for a Logan-like send-off." So you're hearing that there. It's interesting as well. He says there's no Fox or Marvel Universe without it, seeing as Blade had nothing to do with Fox or Marvel. It was a New Line movie, which is a Warner Brothers company. You're hearing there as well, like there's a lot to go over really with all of that. We know Mahershala Ali is absolutely furious and frustrated to no end on this, that every day basically you're hearing that he's ready to walk away. The fact that Maya Goth is still meant to appear and her whole character is to go after the daughter, we have no idea whether that's true or not, because we know Maya Goth is still meant to be attached, but she's been removed from what we heard last to be the main villain, that they've brought in a guy, I can't remember who, to be a main villain. It's interesting as well that every project they've announced from now until basically 2027, every single thing is a sequel. Do you notice that? Every single thing they've announced is a sequel. That is ridiculous. Captain America, sequel. Oh, sorry, the Thunderbolts. Well, that is a new movie, but it's kind of a sequel as well to all the shows, because it got set up in shows and whatnot. Because Bucky Barnes is going to be in there with Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell. What was his character called in Winter Soldier and Falcon? John something. I didn't watch that shit, so I don't know what he's called. But you can basically say it's a sequel to all the shows. And of course, Black Widow. The Fantastic Four, yeah, it's a first movie. But Zootopia 2, Avatar 3, a new Avengers, a Star Wars movie, which of course is basically a sequel, and is basically season 4 of Mandalorian, Toy Story 5, Moana 2, Mufasa, The Lion King. Like, it's ridiculous. Isn't it interesting as well that out of all these movies, the one movie that's missing as well as Blade is the Rey movie? Where's the Rey movie that was meant to be coming? You know, the movie that was actually supposed to come out before Mandalorian and Grogu. But the fact that Blade is missing completely off this slate. It was missing from Comic-Con when they were showing images of their upcoming slate, which still included Ironheart and whatnot and Agatha, crap like that. And now there's no mention of Blade. It's really looking like this thing is not going to happen. And now, of course, they have that issue of people got proper pumped and excited when they saw Wesley Snipes return as Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine. My own cinema, when I went to see it, it got a pop. The only part of the movie that actually got a proper pop was when Wesley Snipes walked in. And I've heard that from multiple other people as well, that the same thing happened in their cinemas. So they really now have that thing of, should we have let Wesley Snipes return in this movie as Blade? Because now people want old man Blade basically to come in and kick some more ass. And we can't even get this movie that we announced 5 years ago. We can't even get a script right for this thing. Yeah, it's not looking good for this movie. I think Mahershala Ali walks away, and I think they either scrap it or they completely change it to be a send-off for Wesley Snipes' Blade. We'll have to wait and see, but it doesn't look good. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.